So welcome to season 3.
Season 3. All right, we made it.
I know, it's crazy. I thought the apocalypse was going to get us between now and season 3, but it did not yet. So here we are.
Go figure. All right.
Also, 135th episode.
Of what? Us?
Us, yeah.
Get
like
out
from
of
the
here.
very beginning. From the very beginning, yeah.
God, no wonder I feel so old.
We have accidentally aged. I didn't mean to. I
Man.
don't know how it happened, but here we are.
That's wild. All right. Well, good for us. Happy New Year.
For us. So what's going on with you? Back from the holidays?
Holidays were great. I'm still feeling holiday-ish, sort of, We're just slowly meandering our way out of it.
Confused and full of cheese is how I described it.
What was it?
I'm confused and full of cheese.
Oh, man, there's worse ways to be.
I stole that from a meme, but also I am still eating holiday levels of cheese.
That's awesome. You look great. It works for you.
The cheese gives you a glow.
Cheese is your buddy.
They say it's like heroin.
Yeah, really? Okay.
But apparently not as unhealthy for your body.
I would hope not. Cheaper.
Much.
Although
cheaper.
I don't know. You're a cheese snob. It might not be cheaper where you're shopping.
I have excellent news on the cheese front, actually.
Okay.
The Ski Queen cheese that I had imported from Murray's last time, I found it locally at Rainbow Grocery.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
They have a goat version of the Ski Queen cheese that I did not know existed, and that Murray's doesn't carry. And they have another kind of the same kind of cheese, but it's just a whole different brand. And it's like, it's like, so.
Okay then. Yeah. What the hell?
Cheese life.
Man, and I'm going no dairy for the whole year. I'm kidding. That's a joke, of course.
Oh.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
Don't mess with me, man. I was about to cry for you.
Not a chance.
I was about to have literal tears.
Yeah. Although I haven't had any Murray's imports lately. Sounds pretty good.
Me neither. Did you get that coupon I sent you? They had like 35% off, and I was about to pull the trigger, and then I was like, I should wait. Christmas has been expensive.
Yeah. We were talking about heading up to New York this spring. There's a Glengarry Glen Ross is being performed on Broadway with Bill Burr and Kieran Culkin, and who's the third? Bob Odenkirk, I think.
I saw that, and I actually was thinking about flying out for it. It's in the spring, right? In March?
Yeah, like April and May, and we were like, oh man, we should totally go check that out. And if that happens, then obviously a cheese, Murray's has to factor into the itinerary.
Yeah. Well, let me know what day you're getting tickets for, and I might join you. I've got NYC on my Fare Watcher, and I actually already texted a friend of mine that lives there and was like, hey, I want to see this play.
Yeah, cool.
Great minds. And then tonight I'm going to go see the Kerry King Band. Does that register at all?
Yeah. Why?
He was in Slayer.
That's it. I couldn't find it. I was like, I know the name as somebody. Yeah. What's the Kerry King Band sound like?
Sounds like Slayer.
Okay. I kind of thought maybe it would.
I didn't
think he was going for the Bakersfield Buck Owens sound or anything. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, Bakersfield Buck Owens.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes,
That is deep.
Hey, Chris Shiflett, that's where he goes. He's from the Foo Fighters. His solo stuff is all country rock. He's big into that stuff.
Country is having a moment right now. It looks like
country's having a big moment right now. I'm going to see, in fact, Ringo Starr at the Ryman, the mother church of country music in Nashville, Tennessee, because Ringo just released. It's the original home of the Opry, the Grand Ole Opry. They built one in the 80s, like a newer one where the TV show takes place. But the original home of the Opry is right in smack dab downtown Nashville at the Ryman, which is over 100 years old. That's still there. It's not seats, it's church pews, the whole venue. It's still incredible. Cool. Oh, it's the coolest venue in America. Like, it's great. But Ringo just released a country album. T-Bone Burnett produced it, and a bunch of new music. And it's got like Billy Strings, and I mean, so many people, Larkin Poe on a song, and it's great. So they're doing a big TV taping, some special, and so yeah, that'll be cool.
Wow, a Beatle in Nashville.
One of only two that we still have. Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, he's always been a country guy. Like the songs in the Beatles, if you think about those mid 60s records, he did a Buck Owens song, Act Naturally, What's Going On, you know, What Goes On. His song that he wrote on the White Album, Don't Pass Me By, that's a country song. I mean, that's always his thing. He was always into he always said if before he joined the Beatles, he had this big plan to move to Texas. He was just obsessed with that sort of scene. So it's always been his favorite sort of music.
I did not know that. Wow. I mean, and now country's gone so pop that really.
Well, he made a country record with T-Bone Burnett that sounds like actual country music, not country pop. It sounds like an old school country record.
It's my Granny Mac's country.
Yeah. It's real country.
Aw. You're seeing it tonight?
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised at the whole thing coming together, but I guess I shouldn't be because why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a quick so Nashville where it's only 30 degrees, and then right back to Minnesota where it's 0 degrees. So I'm getting a break from the winter by coming down to less winter, but it's still cold as hell here.
Oh my gosh. I was
next week in Minneapolis
here and I was crying.
There are days, I believe next week there will be a few days where the high in Minnesota is going to be like 8 below. Will be the high.
Below what?
So, exactly. 8 below any 8 below the line that should be the line of no life is here, but apparently it's not how it works.
I'm not kidding you. I literally texted somebody this morning and was like, it was too cold for me to do yoga. And it was 50 degrees. I was like, I can't move. I can't stretch. And I just comforted today with my laptop to work.
Yeah. It's you know, it's going to pass. We'll get through it. We're already halfway through January somehow. That was fast.
Well, this is going to be your 3rd year in Minnesota now.
It is. I have started year 3 already. It was January 9th was the beginning of year 3.
Because I remember you survived a blizzard already.
Oh yeah, I moved there 2 years ago, and the first week I was in town, I wasn't on the air yet. It was just getting the show ready, and I have video. I was sitting in a hotel room by myself and just looking at more snow than I'd ever seen in my life. And it was still just coming down. And I was just thinking, yeah, could have waited till the spring, I guess. Might have just waited till April. That wouldn't have been so bad.
Why didn't I negotiate longer?
Nah, you got to hit the ground running or hit the ground skiing, whatever you got to do.
220, 221, whatever it takes.
Exactly. Whatever the situation calls for.
Well, music was kind of slow, and then it all kind of exploded, and then Los Angeles literally exploded. So I feel like I kind of can't not mention it. There's been some highlights coming out of the tragedy in terms of like Fender, I guess, is replacing instruments for people who lost them. Music Cares.
Yeah.
Helping people out. And then there's like the downside where you've got people like Tommy Lee saying, hey, quit pushing your band or your new album while there's a tragedy happening. And I'm like,
yeah, it's all just, you got to give everybody a little grace, because even the people who are making the most sense, they're still dealing with things that we can't imagine. I mean, that story has been, and I don't think anybody outside of LA, myself included, still understands the enormity of it. Really, it's just you picture the fact that people are complaining and saying the fire departments, they should have done better. No, fire departments are here to put out a house fire. Fire hydrants have enough water for a house fire. Anywhere you go in the country, you never see a neighborhood on fire. That doesn't happen. And anywhere in America that it did happen, the water would run out. This isn't even neighborhoods. This is 1,000 houses at once. it's so far beyond what anybody can get their arms around. It's just it's a real, it's not at all, I don't think it's at all hyperbolic to say it's LA's 9/11. It's like, if you were in New York on 9/11, you had something that you still cannot put into words. And that's exactly what this is, as far as the enormity of it and the fact that they'll be talking about it for centuries. That's what's going on there right now.
Yeah, and then the rebuild. Are you ready to rebuild? People can't even think about rebuilding their houses because everything is gone around it. They're going to have
I grew up in Maryland and Kentucky, okay? And I know all about the San Francisco fire. You know what I mean? Like the first time I went to San Francisco was 1990, and I knew all about that fire. I'm just saying, that's how big that was. I know all about the Great Chicago Fire, and this is the LA fire. 100 years from now, people will be talking about this fire.
And people don't realize it's still going on. They're still not controlled. Houses are still in danger.
Oh yeah, no, it's completely nuts. Our son just, he moved to LA. He's in Brentwood, and so now we're very, I never spent more time watching KNBC and KTLA and KABC in my life than the last 9 days. It's crazy.
Well, for people who are looking for charities, I know there's been a lot of yes here, no, not there kind of thing. There are definitely some bad GoFundMes out there. If you don't know the person, don't donate to the GoFundMe. If you can't directly get a connection, of 6 degrees of separation. Oh, my friend Jill, this is her aunt's friend. Like, we know this person. And I know people like to complain about the American Red Cross as having high expenditures for what they provide, but the Red Cross is still always that first organization, boots on the ground, providing the emergency assistance, and they are in LA.
They do. And they do have, not every dollar goes to where you hope it goes, but a whole lot of it does. And like you said, they have an infrastructure that's not cheap, but it's because they are real. It's very, it's not run by a bunch of, con artists or anything.
And last but not least, in the in-between, you can go to ktla.com, the news website, and they've got a whole list of Los Angeles charities that are boots on the ground charities that have been vetted by the news station for people who want help, because we are going to need help nonstop. Los Angeles already had a huge homeless problem.
Yeah, the numbers just, the more you think about it, the more it's still, well, like I said, like we're still not even beginning to fully get how big a deal this is.
Last I heard, there were 90,000 people still under evacuation order.
Yeah. That's 3 times the size of the town I grew up in.
I was going to say that's bigger than some states, but no, I think the smallest state still has like over 100,000, but still, I mean, it's damn close. It is close.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's been freaking me out nonstop. What else is going on in the industry?
I'm trying to think what big music news is out there for the last week. This is all I've been really thinking about and trying not to obsess about. But before it started, what were we all talking about? I don't even remember.
I know, right? Before it happened, we were all pissed off that AC/DC had no Northern California date, and still hoping that they might announce a festival. And we still have the announcement. We just had the Bottle Rock announcement where they announced Green Day coming back, which I thought was interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Because Green Day just played here in September, and they sold out Oracle Park. They sold out a stadium, and now they're headlining a festival. So good on them.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit stronger that we might get like Outside Lands or Aftershock for AC/DC, because AC/DC's last show was that Power Trip Festival, and that was in Southern California at Coachella.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've scheduled Pasadena. So if they're coming back to Pasadena after playing Power Trip, why would they just skip Northern California?
Yeah. I don't know I guess that means the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, well, but when they're doing stadiums, they've never done stadiums in America before. They've done them in the rest of the world, but not here. So maybe the thinking is it's fewer shows. They usually do arenas, is my point. So if they're trying to do the Rose Bowl, maybe they do just say, hey, we need to sell 70,000 tickets, not 17,000. So it's just one on the West Coast and everybody has to travel to see us.
I don't know. Last time they were here was 2015 and they played Oracle Park.
So they did?
Yeah, they did the whole stadium here.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, generally speaking, they'll do multiple nights in certain markets, but I guess, maybe they've done more stadiums than I realized it. But every time I've ever seen them, and that's every tour they've ever done, I've only seen them in arenas in the States.
And I was all thinking it might be fun if I popped out for that first show in Minneapolis. It sold out like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know. Well, let me know if you. I can set you up. I may or may not be the host of the morning show that's the presenting station, so I think we can hook you up. I think we can help you out.
I'll add it to my Fair Watcher right now. I'm giving up Comic-Con this year.
Okay.
Because my Comic-Con Connect that I usually stay with downtown is moving back to Canada after like 20 years in the US. And I'm like,
man.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for something to replace that trip. And whether it ends up being New Orleans, New York, or Minneapolis, I've got Fair Watchers on all of them right now.
Okay.
We'll see what happens, right?
We'll stay in touch. We'll stay in touch. We'll make it happen if need be.
And I know none of us really wanted to talk sports, but there is one little bone of contention I have. And that is that people keep wanting to talk about Brock Purdy and whether or not the Niners should sign him and how much they should pay him. And I'm like, I don't think he's the problem. I think absolutely we should do whatever it takes to keep Brock Purdy because I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, no, he's not the problem. I have always been in the camp of if you could do a lot worse than Brock Purdy, but I don't think he's ever going to be a top 6, 7, or 8 quarterback in the league. But he's luckily at a team where he doesn't have to be. I mean, like that coach, that GM, the talent around him when healthy. That team is the Niners are just one of the crown jewel organizations from top to bottom. And so they can do very well with a guy like Brock Purdy. And I'm not demeaning him. I mean, but he's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not in that conversation, but he's very much the tier below the elites. He's right there. You can win with Brock Purdy. And I would go so far as to say you could win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. Now you do have to have everything else lined up. I don't know that he's going to be the guy that pulls something out of his hat in the fourth quarter on the road in a playoff game. So but if you're willing to blow that up and go try to find that kid, good luck, because there's only a handful of those people in the league at any one time.
I feel like last year he was that guy, and this year not at all. We were a fourth quarter team last year, and I think that's why we went as far as we did. And this year, it's like the fourth quarter was empty.
Well, I mean, he's the kind of like people that I listen to or read that really do know football, like not just pundits, but legit analysts, people that have been doing this for decades. They can tell you that his ceiling is only so high, but at the same time, but his ground floor is also really high. Like he's not going to hurt you. He's not going to ever wear a Superman cape, but he's also not going to make stupid mistakes. I mean, and he's at the kind of team with the kind of coach where he can take it, where that can be good enough at quarterback, if that makes sense.
I felt like he was too young to really understand what his potential was, and that he got thrown into the soup early. And that he's seasoned, I think that we've got an opportunity for him to be a really, really good quarterback for the next 2-3 years. If not more.
Or more than that. I agree. I mean, it's like sometimes, people, it's like every now and again, a child actor gets to adulthood and it turns out, they're actually just really good. They started so early before they even understood what was happening. And then they figured it all out. I mean, he's just this is the last guy taken in a draft, for crying out loud. Like there was zero pressure on him, but there were people, he's not Tom Brady, but there's a similar thing in that they just showed up under the radar. Brubaker, they're the warden that acts like they're an inmate, and then boom, look like a young Robert Redford, but you see where I'm going with that.
The 70s, and I still get it.
Because we're just old. That's just how it is.
You're making me feel so old, Steve.
This happens. What can I tell you?
Oh man.
Hey man, just the other day I saw it was the anniversary of The Catch, and I was like, Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. I mean, just like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
That, I mean, that was
Yeah,
so momentous for
yeah.
us. I remember at the time I was in like third or fourth grade and I was going to
Hmm.
a Christian school, and the principal's wife was a big 49er fan, and she literally had us praying for the Niners.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Every Friday we would have to
Yeah,
go to chapel and pray for the 49ers to win on Sunday.
that's awesome.
This is so weird. And
Yeah.
then my other memory is I remember there being those hype videos. I don't know if it was pregame or if it was the news, but it was TV. We had
Hmm.
13 channels.
Yeah.
And I remember all these Dallas players, because I was a kid. So I was like, I remember them saying like so much trash talk about the Niners. And I was like,
Yeah.
why are you so mean, Dad?
Yeah.
Like, why
Sure.
are you so mean about us? We're this little team that's been terrible for so long.
Yeah.
And they're just like being mean to us, like bullies on the playground. And then the catch happened, and everybody was like,
Yeah. Pretty good run there for a while.
yeah, that's when we were America's team.
That's right. Well, you were America's team because you were beating America's team. The other half of America that hated the Cowboys really appreciated the Niners for that era. Hey man, the Steve Young the Steve Young Super Bowl where they beat the Chargers, that's 30 years ago, like next week. That was 1995 after the 94 season.
I said
30 years.
you feel old.
Man.
You're just making it worse, dude.
Yeah. Very memorable game for me now that I mention it, because that night we played the Black Crows played the Royal Albert Hall in London that night, and we had a after show party where we had the game played on a big screen TV, and the tour caterers made like chili and hot dogs, tried to make American football food. It was a wonderful effort. I'll just put it that we loved them for trying. And they were like, "How are the chili dogs?" And we're like, "It's good. The beer's good." But it was fun.
Yeah.
And not only did we watch that game in its entirety, but that was the night that was the first time we all met Jimmy Page. He came to the show with his buddy Robert Plant, who we already knew, and so we had Plant and Page at the gig watching the Super Bowl at the after show party with us. And it was just, this kind of thing, you just put it all in this head and go, oh, that was all happening at the same time. We were watching the Niners destroy the Chargers and Steve Young get his ring, and oh, there's Robert and Jimmy. Okay, this is weird. And we're eating really weird chili.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have been just like, just do the English breakfast again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Darius Rucker was there from Hootie and the Blowfish. He showed up, and we were like, we knew him just being another band from the South, and we were unaware that they had they are just starting to kind of get big, but it hadn't happened yet, but it was about to.
They hadn't had
And
the hit.
and we were like, "Hey, dude, what's up? What are you doing in London?" He's like, "Oh, we put the record out." We're like, "All right," and, it's just one of those nights you have. And then all these, but the main point of that is, it was 30 years ago.
Why is that the main point? Can't the main point be that like Jimmy Page just had a birthday? I was totally thinking of you on Jimmy's birthday, and he's older than both of us together. Or
almost. Close enough.
Older than both of us.
Yeah.
Together times 0.75.
He's lived more than the two of us have combined. He's lived about 140 years, I'm sure.
Exponentially. Oh my gosh. So because you guys are like friends, do you text him on his birthday and be like, "Happy birthday, Paige"? What's up?
No.
No. Not even a little bit?
Not so much.
I text Rob Halford. I do it like
nice.
I do it like 2 days before or like 2 days after, because I'm like, every time I'm always like, I'm sure your phone was blowing up or is blowing up. And I didn't want to contribute, but also thinking of you. Happy birthday.
Nice. It's lovely. I don't know him, but I've had him on my show a couple times, and man, I love that guy. He's great.
Isn't he just amazing? Yeah. He's just one of the most gracious, kind, and interesting people I've ever had the pleasure.
And his book was fantastic.
I have 17 times after that book.
I've read less than 10 rock autobiographies in my life, but his was one of them, and I loved it.
Really?
I loved him. I loved him reading it. I was like, man, what a guy.
You should read more rock autobiographies.
Well, I just
Alex Van Halen.
I don't know. Haven't heard great things. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of, I still like just not knowing. I like just thinking it's all magic, even though I know it's not.
But you wrote one. It's
Yeah.
your genre.
Well, yeah, that's mine. That's different. That's a whole different thing.
All right. I'm gonna let it go, but only because it's getting late.
It is getting late. I got to get rolling. I got a Beatle to go hang out with.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Take pictures or video.
Maybe.
Be that guy for like just 30 seconds. That's it.
I'll give you 13 seconds tops.
15?
That's all I can promise. We'll see. We'll see. All right. All right. Lovely to see you. Happy New Year.
No, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's the 15th.
I know.